We are back, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Here at League Unlock, Eric and Mark with you guys, as always, going through some power rankings for Week 4, even though NA and EU, only 6 of the 20 teams were playing. You know, the teams that were at Rift Rivals do have implications when you're talking about the top 10 teams in the world. We're going global, going 10-1, and there are some changes from last week, especially because the LPL and LCK we're still going under games because for whatever reason, the Rift Rivals schedules did not line up. I don't know why. I don't make the rules.
I'm telling you what, it's definitely got to be the planner playing too much of that TFT beta. That's got to be.
Oh man,
just thinking
that week.
Yeah, like, oh God, how do I get that? How do I get that next? I need to get another Yordle here for my team.
He's playing the game wrong if he's going for Yordles. I'll tell you that much. But we're going 10-1 for global, and one team making their debut this week is from the LPL, TOP or Top eSports. I guess they're not TOP anymore. They did rebrand. You see that new logo. They've quietly jumped out to a 5-1 start. Haven't talked about them a lot, but we know the talent that is on this roster.
Yeah, this is a squad that has been inside the global top rankings before in the spring and now making their debut for the summer. Time for them to get in here. Time for Knight to get his due here. 5-1 record. This is a squad really putting out some good performances there in the LPL.
And their pals from China, IG, going down a spot because they did lose 2-0 to JDG. But good news for them, coming around for Rift Rivals, Rookie will be playing with this roster, returning to the mid lane. Not to say Forge didn't do an incredible job subbing in for him.
Forge did a fantastic job subbing in, but this is one of those type of situations where it didn't matter what type of job you were going to do when you came in here. It's Rookie. You're not going to be able to get to that level, and not even to the level at that point, just even anyone looking at it, the eyeball test, it won't be the same here. That's what Rookie's able to do, so him stepping back into the lineup, I expect to see IG in the next couple of weeks climb up this power rankings board again.
And they're really not in any huge issue, even during that stretch without Rookie, because Forge played so well, and the rest of the squad. Biggest climbs are Damwon and Liquid. Damwon obviously started 0-2. They've rallied off 6 in a row. They climb again here in the global top 10, and we've talked about it. Nuggery, Showmaker, really Canyon. I think this is just the best mechanical team in the LCK right now.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're getting actually a lot of these performances to come through here, is that they're getting to these points in games where, well, the differences isn't really that much here. And when it comes to that point in time, well, hey, the differences aren't that much. If the experience, the items are more or less the same. If you're talking about skill, it's going to be the Damwon boys coming out ahead here. The way that they've been playing so far has been a special thing to watch here in the LCK. And again, this is just more of that proof that these young guns that have come through the challenger scene and moved up here in the LCK, those top 3 spots are all of those new challenger squads from 2018 pretty much. This is a really nice renaissance here, revival of these young squads in the LCK.
And you saw in spring a lot of subbing that this squad was doing with Flame when he came over, and Punch was splitting a lot of time with Canyon, but they have clearly now settled on Nuggery in that top lane and Canyon in the jungle. And that entire top side of the map has such incredible playmaking capabilities to just single-handedly win a fight for their team.
That's another one of those situations here that, yes, just because they've settled in on their lineup doesn't mean that the players that are in their sub roles that aren't contributing here to the team, aren't contributing to the success of the players in those starting positions. No, you definitely have to believe that a player like Flame, for sure, in that top side, is still helping Nuggery unlock those next level skills, that next level of thinking here in that top side of the map.
Yeah, and he's basically serving as a positional coach or assistant coach. I have no doubt in my mind that he's doing that for them. Liquid also moves up a couple of spots, and we talked about, does Rift Rivals have any implications on these standings? I think it does to some degree. It definitely locks out Cloud9 or TSM from getting sniffing near the top 10 for the next coming weeks. But Team Liquid, they showed up for NA. They were the only ones. They got 3 wins for them, 2 against G2 and 1 against Origin. They actually looked solid in some of these games, most of their games really, even when they lost to Fnatic. They were in that game. They had a chance to win it. So Team Liquid did North America proud.
Team Liquid, there's nothing to be ashamed about. They brought their performance. This is absolutely kind of that redemption here for not showing up whatsoever in the MSI finals against G2. They come back here. They managed to get these wins against that squad. They managed to pick up a couple other wins here against the EU teams. And what was so important is, again, they're the only ones really doing it here for ending at Rift Rivals. This was a really strong individual effort from the TL squad here. And as you're right, talking about Rift Rivals, how much can it really impact the performance of these teams in these power rankings? And you look at it, yes, there were some little silly things going on. Yes, it's not the most serious thing, but of course there is still some strong performances here, things to take away, and especially in those finals where TL was really performing at their best in that kind of finals round robin. That absolutely is something that I take some value in.
Yeah, G2 trolled the first time they played, but the finals, I think they took it a lot more seriously, and Team Liquid just put up a solid performance. You saw RNG in the same spot at 6. They got a 2-0 win against OMG. Not quite enough to move them into that top 5 because the top 5 is the same as last week. There's just a little bit of shifting, similar to what we did in the LCK. I think Griffin are ahead of Sandbox right now in terms of being the best team in Korea. Things are just, I mean, they're looking more and more like they did in spring when they were dominating. We'll forget about the last 2 weeks of the regular season, that series against SKT. The majority of spring when they were absolutely styling on fools. That's what they're doing again.
Absolutely. This is the Spring Griffin squad coming through, finally seeing these performances. And again, as we talked about in the LCK power rankings, the big difference here for me absolutely is in that top side. We are getting Sword delivering these steady performances, not letting the other team, and again, in the LCK where you're going up against so many absolute studs in the top side of the map, that hey, if you're holding your own here, keeping steady at least, the other squad here isn't getting that advantage on such a skilled player most of the time. That has been a big difference maker for this Griffin squad. They are looking a lot more like when they have been completely dominant in the LCK. Good to see them move up here to number 4.
And I think that loss to Sandbox really kind of made them reconsider how they approach the pick ban phase, and I think the coaching staff has done a lot better job of, maybe we won't play some of these comps. Although Origin gave them a shout out with that Talia Pantheon bottom lane.
The circumstances were pretty much the same, I guess you could say.
It was a shout out, an homage to Griffin, if you will. But the top 3 is the same, and I know people are very upset about Fnatic being ahead of G2 because one best of, are they immediately better? Well, coming into summer, I think you can say, and again, Rift Rivals is a rough argument. I think Fnatic is and can be the more consistent squad of the two. A best of 5, G2 is going to come into as the favorites to that event, but I think right now you can make the argument to put Fnatic ahead of them.
This is one of those situations where, yes, I agree. I feel strongly in the 5v5 type of match here that, yes, you would eventually see Fnatic be the team out on top. But of course, if you're going just one game wins it all, you absolutely could see G2 put that full-on powerhouse through on a squad. But when you're looking here, G2 or Fnatic as far as ranking them, this is where you got to remember power rankings. This is about this week in particular here. And right now, Fnatic has got that better synergy, got that better power going through with this team. I saw a lot more from them, at least this week. And the thing is, again, hey, what was the week before that? That's the week where they got the victory against G2. You got to keep rolling with this Fnatic squad ahead of G2 eSports.
And everything looked great. Everything has looked great in the LEC, and at Rift Rivals, Bwipo's solo killing everybody. He gets an extra buff whenever he gets to match up against Cloud9 or any North American team. Broxa looks like the best jungler in the West. Reckless is winning games on Karma. I don't know how to explain that one. And Nemesis is really starting to showcase that he can be a top-tier mid laner in Europe. Think of how quick this guy's developed, by the way. It was basically 5 weeks in spring where you're like, I don't know about this signing.
Nemesis has developed, and not only that, but you got Dan stepping in and subbing in and picking up wins over some of the best teams in NA. This is the Fnatic squad rolling through full strength.
Yeah, excited to see them get back into LEC action, but they're not even the top dogs. FPX, Fun Plus, they're still undefeated. They did drop another game, though, against a team they probably shouldn't have in V5, but they're still perfect, 7-0. They are the best team in the LPL right now, and I will be devastated, Mark, if we don't see them at Worlds. Devastated.
It'll be one of the worst things that I've ever seen, man. You gotta get this squad through. It's about time that we get Doing B at an international event, especially something like Worlds. I tell you what, this Fun Plus Phoenix squad is absolutely going to be the darlings that everyone loves, because the way that they play, it is just all the way to the wall, pedal to the metal, full time. This is the Fun Plus
meta,
squad.
baby.
And hey, they like to break out some of these wacky picks for sure with some wacky builds. This is the squad that always keeps you on your feet. They're the #1 team in the world.
This is the level of regular season dominance that we saw out of IG in 2018. They couldn't translate it to LPL wins, but if you recall, they did win a certain world championship. Not saying FPX is going to do that, but the same levels of dominance they are showing right now in the regular season.